Hi guys, my name is Gary Lowe and I live in the Scottish Highlands. I've recently joined the group Woodturners Around the Globe. Recently I've posted a couple of photographs of my small hollowed vessels which I colour or stain. Firstly, thanks very much for all your comments, they've been wonderful to hear. What I'm going to do now, hopefully, is give a quick demonstration of how I apply the colours the way I like them, and other people obviously like them as well. The ones I'm going to show are, firstly, if some of you remember, I did a small cherry vessel. As you can see, the colours all the way round. This is roughly 4 inch tall by 3 inch in diameter, and we've probably got about half an inch opening inside. I have several finials for this, so obviously you can pick and choose which one you want. Secondly, I have this one here, which was a firewood upcycle challenge by Joseph Rosler. So Joseph, I'm finally getting round to it. This one here is made from willow. It was a very soft and punky piece of wood, but it turns to a nice finish if you can overcome the softness. And lastly, which I think was the first one I did, this is a piece of Scottish elm. I've ebonised and lime waxed the side over some texture. So Charlotte hay, hopefully I'll get round to showing this one as well. And again, they're all roughly about between 4 and 5 inches in height. The main colours that I use are chestnut spirit stains. Now, if you can't use these, you could possibly use food dyes, clothes dyes, artist inks or something like that. But here in the UK, these are quite readily available. Spirit based, so they're very fast drying, so there's not an awful long time to complete the actual colouring process. To finish off, to get the glossy look on the likes of these ones, I use a melamine lacquer, and I've used it in an aerosol for these. Again, very quick drying, although good ventilation is preferred because it's quite a noxious smell. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do tonight is this one here, the cherry. And I do have another piece of cherry here. Again, just a small hollow vessel. This one's actually got some wormholes in it that have been filled over. It doesn't really matter because the colours will disguise it all. And the second is actually another piece of willow. It's got some lovely grain in it, but this is a side grain piece, and when I first turned it, it went through that window because it wasn't held properly. So window's now repaired and this is now ready for colouring. Okay, so without further ado, let's get colouring. Okay guys, here we have a piece of cherry on the lathe. The dyes or stains will be applied stationary, so it won't be turning. The cherry itself has been sanded to 2400 grit, and it's got probably about 4 or 5 coats of cellulose sanding sealer on. You can also put a diluted coat of melamine lacquer over it if you want, but the sanding sealer itself is good enough. You want as good a finish as you can, because obviously any imperfections in the wood could be highlighted by the colour, especially sanding marks. Imperfections like wormholes, possibly voids or cracks, could add to the actual overall look of the piece. So yeah, now the stains that I use, they can be applied with it unsealed, but they tend to soak into the wood more and you don't get the effect that I like. Other people like other things, obviously, so it's a case of trial and error. I've done this a few times now and it's the way that I like to do it. Okay, I'll just show you the stains that I'm using. Okay, chestnut spirit stains. They come in a variety of colours. Today I'll be using 7 colours: yellow, orange, blue, red, green, royal blue and purple. The application is very simple. Kitchen paper scrunched up and then blotched on, as you'll soon see in a minute. So we'll get the camera back. Oh yeah, sorry, rubber gloves. Unless you want multicoloured fingers, rubber gloves are an essential part. Okay, so we'll go again. Okay, rubber gloves on. I normally start with the lightest colour first and go slowly darker as I go along. So I'll start with the yellow. All I do, scrunched up kitchen towel, cover it in the colour and simply blob on, just all over. You can always come back and add the same colour again a bit later if the desired effect is not what you're quite after. So yellow straight away. As I say, it is a spirit base, so it does dry fairly quick. Obviously if you're in a much warmer climate than say Scotland, it'll dry even quicker. Okay, so Charlotte, Australia, it will dry in seconds. Joseph, probably minutes. Okay, so the next colour, orange. And again, just dab it on. Because the wood has been sealed, you can actually see the stain running slightly on the timber itself, which is the kind of effect that I'm after. Obviously the end colour is entirely up to yourself, to the effect that you want. Okay, so that's the second colour on. Now you can actually rotate it on the lathe ever so slightly if you want to speed the drying process up. As the spirit will just evaporate and leave the colour. Okay, as I said, it's a very simple process. Again, scrunched up tissue paper in the colour and blob on. Obviously, the less you seal your wood, the less the stain will actually flow, so to speak, on the wood itself. So as you can see, the effect is starting to come already, and that's us just on 3 colours. So next colour, if you like it, go for a red. So at the moment it's probably looking slightly like autumnal or fall for you guys across the pond. Autumn we call it. Okay, that's enough red for now. Or maybe just a bit down the bottom. Now obviously, because I've still got this in the chuck, I'll have to part it off once it's finished and dried and then do the bottom, or you can leave the bottom natural wood to actually show people that it is really wood and not something else. There we go. You can actually apply these colours with it off the lathe, not a problem. The only problem with that is you have to hold it somehow so that you don't get finger marks on the vessel itself. Okay, so just give that a quick turn just to help the drying process. Now obviously, as we're using colour stains, protect your bed bars, unless you want coloured bed bars. Okay, so we're getting there. So we'll now move on to the next colour. And the next colour I'm going to choose is green. Now chestnut spirit stains don't just come in these nice bright colours, they also come in wood dye colour. So think of a timber and they might have that colour there. So they could have teak stain, they could have oak stain, you name it. But personally, I like the colours. As I say, all it is, play about to your heart's content until you see the colour that you're after. So now on to colour 6. As I say, you can do them 1 colour, you can do them 3 colours, 6 colours, as many colours as you want. They also do a black and a white. I've not got any white. I do have black, which I will be showing on the next colouring video that I'll be doing, which was the one that was the firewood upcycle which Joseph put on the site. Okay, so that's blue, or royal blue. Again, I'll just start the lathe to dry it off slightly. Speed it up a little bit. Okay, and we'll go for the next colour, which I'm going to use purple. Again, very simple process. Scrunched up tissue paper and just blob. Now I like this area here. Not too good about this one, but we'll get around to changing that. Just overlap the colours, and as the colours overlap, the colour underneath changes. Okay. And that's the 7th colour. And what I am going to do is I'm going to go back when this is slightly drier and put some more yellow over it just to lighten some of the areas up. So I'll just give it a quick spin up. Now unfortunately I'm both cameraman, editor and artist, so I apologise if the quality of this video is not very good. I'm no Steven Spielberg, but I shall try my best. So again, I'm just dabbing some more yellow on there. And you see that sort of lightens off some of the darker spots. Sorry if my hand's getting in the way. As I said, Steven Spielberg, eat your heart out. Okay, now before I apply the melamine lacquer, I'll let this dry off for probably about 10-15 minutes. Enough time for a coffee. Okay, so I'll be back around about then. Okay guys, that's me had my coffee now. The dye, as you can see, is dry. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply melamine gloss lacquer made by Chestnut. Obviously if you can't get that where you come from, an alternative lacquer, whether it be automotive lacquer or anything like that, would suffice. Melamine lacquer, once it's touch dry, it chemically cures, and within 7 to 21 days it will be completely cured. Normally when I put it on, I can buff it up within hours. So like any aerosol or paint that you use, I've got my workshop door open for ventilation. I'm also going to stick on a small extractor to take away any fumes that are near me. Wear a respirator or mask if you're that way inclined for safety purposes. If you excuse me, I'll just reach over. Wrong switch, sorry. Okay, now hopefully you'll still be able to hear me. As you can see, I've just put masking tape over the chuck to protect it, and I've put an old dust cloth over my lathe bed. To apply the lacquer, I'm going to do it by hand and rotate it by hand also. Again, with any aerosol, 10 to 12 inch away from subject, and just give it a fine coat to start with. So, have a go. Okay, and again, because this is a spirit based or cellulose based, this will dry very quickly. Okay, so just going to turn the lathe on at a slow speed just to aid the drying process. Because it's a light coating that I've put on, I shouldn't get any runs. It's quite a powerful smell, this melamine lacquer. Obviously I don't have a respirator on, otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me. Okay, now I'll just apply another coat in the opposite direction. So I went across the way, so I'll now go up and down the way. You can even apply this as it's a dust coat almost. Now this does dry to quite a high gloss finish. If you do want to bring it to an even higher gloss, you can buff it up using burnishing cream, burnishing wax, or you can mat it down slightly with 4O grade Lowe. Okay, you can sand this down between coats as well and then reapply. Obviously the more times you do that, the better finish you'll get. Like any finishing, this is what takes the time to get the decent quality that you're after. If I just jump behind the camera and see if you can see, yeah, that's looking quite glossier already. Okay, so I will let this dry and I will buff it up. Now I'm not sure if you can see there, if I just point here, I have a piece of end grain which doesn't look to be as sealed previously as before, but hopefully with sanding down and recoating the melamine we should get the colour up to a uniform gloss. And hopefully, if I move the camera, one coloured cherry hollow vessel. Thanks for watching. And here we are again, slightly different view. Once again, thanks for watching.